I think people that say I voted for this need lobotomies. Like, they see images like this and say, I voted for this. This is what I voted for. Like, you deserve a lobotomy, brother. Straight up. That's crazy.
You will pet me, whether you like it or not.
Gas, get back! Gas on film!
Captured here lobbing a smoke canister at protesters.
That's a terrible throw, by the way. Like, not the main point, but it is kind of, it is another testament to how weak and frail these guys are.
You just got me! We had it!
Yeah, he threw that like a pussy and gassed himself.
Today he insisted this is all about criminals, claiming they are only taking people they would describe as the worst of the worst. He was unapologetic about 5-year-old Liam.
Oftentimes you will see violent illegal aliens that perhaps do have families, and those violent criminal illegal aliens are going to be arrested. I've got no qualms about making America a safer place.
You leave, you
But Liam's story will only serve to motivate ICE protesters as Minneapolis becomes the front line of a national resistance. Former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton today accused officers of terrorizing a population, using children as pawns, saying, "My heart aches for Liam Ramos and his family." ICE called her claims an abject lie, claiming Liam's father was a criminal illegal alien from Ecuador who fled officers, leaving them to ensure Liam was safe. This morning, the vice president made clear.
Yeah, trying to ensure the safety of the 5-year-old by using him to lure out the family members.
Federal officers had his backing.
Well, you know, one of the things that we want to do is send a message to our local law enforcement, to our federal law enforcement, that we stand with them. And we're not going to abandon them, and we're not going to do what the last administration did, which is throw them under the bus to appease a bunch of left-wing radicals.
J.D. Vance then headed to Minneapolis in Minnesota, a democratically run state, with hundreds of thousands.
Bro, there has to be punishments. There has to be punishments. I don't think a lot of Democrats realize how angry the base is, how angry regular people are at this stuff. They are not meeting the moment, which is unsurprising. But someone who comes out and says, I'm for Medicare for all, I'm for, a government jobs program, I am for cutting ties to Israel, and I am for punishing every single person in the former administration and every single person in ICE that played a role in these Nazi activities on U.S. soil, will win by insane margins. They'll have a reverse Reagan sweep. They'll do FDR numbers. We're gonna do a domestic Nuremberg. Tony DeCappo literally justifies his colleague's murder here by uncritically parroting Israel's basic claim that Abishad, a photographer who worked for CBS News, was operating a drone affiliated with Hamas when the IDF killed him by airstrike at Nulo every day. Bearable. I mean, we're not. I'm gonna get to that in a second. The three journalists that were killed.
Fewer undocumented
That were CBS workers too.
migrants than Republican-controlled Texas, where Liam and his father are being held right now, further fueling speculation that this isn't really about law enforcement, it's about politics.
Columbia Heights school officials say their sense of security is shaken and their hearts shattered after 4 students from the district have been taken by ICE.
The Columbia Heights school superintendent says 2 17-year-olds, one taken from his car on the way to school, the other taken after ICE agents busted in his apartment. The school district says just yesterday, 5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father were taken in the driveway of their home after leaving his classroom. They claim Liam was used as bait to knock on the door and ask to be let in to see if anyone was at home. Another elementary school student and their mother was also taken while walking to school, officials say. Both are in the detention center in Texas, and they want the public to get involved.
We're asking to please reach out to your congressional representatives to ask for an immediate and peaceful resolution to this occupation. Please help us and other schools to, again, be a safe place where all belong and all succeed.
So the school district does have an immigration lawyer to help figure out how to get the students back to Minnesota. We have asked ICE for a comment on the arrest of these children, but have not yet gotten a response.
New clashes in Minneapolis. Federal officers firing pepper spray and tear gas at protesters confronting Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino.
This is the other side of the ICE story. Aside from using a 5-year-old as bait and then defending it, which is obviously completely insane. You also have this other side of the story. There was a Department of Homeland Security memo that was released or was passed around that allows ICE agents to enter homes without a judicial warrant, according to a whistleblower. Something that we saw the other day in Minneapolis, where ICE basically bust through the doors of a home in Minneapolis and went in and apprehended the father. This is why they're doing it.
Preventing agents from entering convenience stores during their ongoing immigration crackdown. Bovino himself seen tossing a smoke canister into a crowd. This as a new whistleblower complaint comes to light. It reveals a memo released internally by Immigration and Customs Enforcement suggesting that federal agents can rely on administrative warrants to make arrests instead of judicial warrants, meaning a judge does not have to sign off for agents to enter a suspect's home. The Department of Homeland Security insists there is legal precedent, but immigration advocates claim it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
ICE is saying we're going to
It is a violation. It is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. It is. There's no excuse for it. If you do not have a signed judicial warrant that will tell you exactly what you can even search, because like even a signed judicial warrant is not going to allow you search and entry into every part of the home. Like you have to get all of that signed off by a judge. Okay? Warrants are very specific. There needs to be a signed judicial warrant signed by a judge that hasn't expired that will allow you entry into someone's home. The Constitution is very clear about this. Okay? Wait, what is this? DHS lied? This guy was not on the loose in Minnesota when they raided a U.S. citizen's home without a warrant. He was in prison. DHS would know this information. Man, ICE sought and humiliating arrest of U.S. citizen has been in prison since 2024. Oh, this is the other guy. This was the other guy that they arrested, apprehended. DHS said this guy matched description of the U.S. citizen on the right that they detained. You recognize that the international world order is fake, but not that the Constitution is fake? No, there's a difference. The reason why there's a difference is because you should be able to uphold the Constitution. It's like much more personal, and there are instances where it's not. And there is a court system that still exists internally that will hold it up until it doesn't. But until that falls apart in its entirety, until the Supreme Court is like straight up going, yeah, no, and they have done this already, right, for other things like abortion and whatnot. But using every tool at your disposal, is an absolute must. Okay? Using every tool at your disposal is an absolute necessity. This is a matter of survival. So I'm not just going to go, oh yeah, the Constitution is fake, it's phony, whatever. No, there are still plenty of people who believe in the Constitution, whether that's silly or not doesn't matter. And there is still a shred of like a modicum of defense in the courts as well. I 100% agree, but you need to recognize that it's not enough and people need to organize. When have I said that it's not? This kind of makes me so furious, brother. You're just repeating my talking points back to me in a contentious manner, okay? That's why I said it's not the end all be all. Yeah, did I say stand back and just tell the government I have a copy of the Constitution. I have a pocket Constitution, sir. That's not what I said. God, dude. This is so annoying. Everybody stand back. The Constitution will protect you. That's what I was implying, obviously. Why? Why is it the least charitable interpretation? Every single time. How is that possible?
Ignore case law from the U.S. Supreme Court that says an independent party must make a decision at the judiciary to issue a warrant. And we're just going to rely on our own warrants signed off by our own people to bust down a door and go into a home. The executive branch trying to act like the legislative branch and making up laws and policies as they go along.
In response, Homeland Security saying every illegal alien who DHS serves administrative warrants had full due process and a final order of removal from an immigration judge. The officers...
They don't. It's... Okay? They can have a final order of removal. That does not mean you have a judicial warrant to enter someone's home. In order to get a judicial warrant to enter someone's home, to process a final order of removal, you have to go to a judge, okay? You can't just go, I have a pink slip that my mommy signed for me, you know? You can't just like walk around and be like, well, my dad signed this slip that says I can go into your house, so I can go into your house. Because that's It's as worthless. The administrative warrant is just as worthless as saying my daddy Trump signed this piece of paper that allows me to go into your house. Okay? What good is the Constitution if the federal government is not going to follow it? The whole purpose of the Constitution is to limit the powers of the government over the power over the people. Okay? That's what it is. The Constitution is not just like, put together rules that restrict people. It's actually supposed to restrict the government from encroaching on the people's liberties. Oh, we need to stop pretending that the Constitution means anything in the face of capitalism. I think it's childish personally. No, dude, it still matters. It matters up until the point it doesn't, okay? And as long as the courts still exist, as long as there is any sort of limitation, it matters. That's the reason why Donald Trump, outside of like all the pushback that he received in Chicago or Los Angeles, had to pull out of those places because courts told him you can't do that. It's at least one weapon in the arsenal that you can use to resist. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to exhaust all options. I don't trust the Democrats at all. I don't believe the Democrats will ever do the fucking right thing, but I still demand them to at least hold up some kind of legislative hurdle in front of this administration, as it's obviously engaging in tyrannical abuse of power. Why do I say that? Because it's another weapon, right? It's another weapon that you can wield against the tyrannical administration. Because the final stage of this process is people arming themselves, directly arming themselves and organizing local militias to take matters in their own hands. And that is decentralized violence as a mechanism of defense. But that's a last resort. And the reason why you don't want to let it get to that last resort is because then it's hot conflict. It's hot war. It's no longer a system that we can exist under, a stable country that we can live under. A lot of you don't understand how devastating that would look like what that chaos would look like, what that would mean for you. Okay, no more Twitch, no more going on Twitch and watching Hasanabi while eating hot Cheetos, no more work from home. Do you understand? That's civil war. I don't want it to get there, but there's only so much you can do until the population realizes no one's coming to save them and they take matters of self-defense in their own hands. Okay? What good is it to live in a civilized society if the safeguards are not going to work and the government is going to behave in an uncivil manner? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll still find a way to keep live streaming through the process of civil war, okay? But some of you might not have time to watch. You feel me?
Issuing these administrative warrants also have found probable cause. But at least one U.S. senator is now calling for an investigation. Meanwhile, the immigration crackdown now spreading to the state of Maine. Agents saying they're searching for
Do you move all off so hard if there's a civil war roach man would dominate discourse? I would literally hire a brigade. I would have my own private military contractors defending me every step of the way. Well-armed PMCs, fleet of Tacoma trucks with machine guns on top of it, and I would roam the lands like a warlord, live streaming the process. Yes, Blackwater. Okay, I would hire the most rugged war criminals, just not IDF, because then they'd kill me probably. Okay, and the only way I could fund that mechanism is through you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Piker Broadcasting Services sponsored by you. No ads, no nothing, no frills, all thrills, baby. Your subscriptions in the form of a Twitch Prime, which is free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, or a $6 a month subscription is what allows me to hire private military contractors to defend myself in the upcoming civil war as I continue to live stream throughout the entire process. I will get Graham Plattner on with a M60 strapped up to a Tacoma. Yes, people were like, why aren't you funding the Revolutionary Vanguard? Well, it turns out that might happen somehow. As long as you don't go to a tattoo parlor with Graham Plattner, you're fine. You might get in trouble for this. Wait, what? Trouble for what? I said that in a potential civil war style scenario, I will hire my own private military contractors to continue being able to report live from on the ground. M60's outdated. You want an M249 or M240B? Okay, whatever. Closed presents. Thank you for the hundo.
1,400 targets accused of multiple crimes.
Your hypothetical made me scared, and now I want you banned. Sorry, not sorry. Thank you for the honesty.
Use of tear gas against protesters, an appeals court is allowing officers to use the tactic for crowd control. Vice President J.D. Vance visits Minneapolis today to speak with local leaders.
Open presence,
Federal
thank
agents
you.
sprayed a protester in the face with a chemical.
Yeah, this was one of the most insane. Another chaotic sight from the dystopian now that we exist in, the dystopian present that we exist in here in Israel. Okay, another Hamas militant getting put down and sprayed in the face. Like, what the are you doing, man? What is this?
Pinned to the ground.
It didn't take that long for Israel to be here, you know?
What the hell?
The image was captured by a Minnesota Star Tribune photographer who said witnesses told him federal agents had taken away at least 2 teens, sparking tension at the protest. According to the photographer, the scene grew even more heated when a Border Patrol agent shoved a woman with a bicycle to the ground. Video of the incident shows agents atop a person on the ground, but when agents stood him up, the man attempted to break free. Agents pinned him down again, and another agent walked over and sprayed him in the face while he was restrained. It is not clear why the protester was initially detained. The Star Tribune photographer said he did not see the man on the ground put his hands on the agents. Agents then deployed tear gas and other chemical irritants to disperse the crowd, he said. The Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, thank God the courts allowed this to happen, by the way. That's great. I think people that say I voted for this need lobotomies. Like, they see images like this and say, I voted for this. This is what I voted for. Like, you deserve a lobotomy, brother. Straight up. That's crazy. Yeah, JD Vance be like, but you don't understand the context. Actually, we need to allow law enforcement to engage in these kinds of endeavors. Have you even considered their feelings? No, you didn't. I need one of these. The shit that the ice ages are wearing now, like the chains under your shoes. God, I hate JD Vance so much. I think the level of personal vitriol and anger that law enforcement agents have against their subjects need to be outlawed. I don't know if that's even possible, but there are way too many cases of brutality where the agents are clearly personally pissed off, like Jonathan Ross. Completely unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason for it, because you have to have animals do this job, because no human being would do this. Every human being, if they were forced into this position, would go, I don't want to do this. What are you, out of your mind? This is ridiculous. This is the prerequisite. You have to be a animal, a feral animal, to behave like this. So they hire only feral animals to do this.
Security says agents were harassed and blocked by crowds.
No, the chain is not a kink. It's for snow and ice. Like the ice on the ground.
While trying to take bathroom breaks, saying in a statement, at each gas station where the agents stopped to use the restroom, groups of agitators appeared, yelled at them, stalked them.
I don't think these guys realize, like, this is far, far less than what they actually deserve, okay? Oh no, my feelings are hurt for behaving like a feral animal in the wild. Like, shut the up. Tough titties, bitch. Get the out. Get the out of the neighborhoods. Get the out of Minneapolis. I read that their $50K bonus isn't payable until 2031, so hopefully they'll be in jail by then. Oh my God. Oh, that would be so sweet. Oh my God. Oh, put a lien on that. Put a lien on that taxpayer-funded $50K signing bonus and just make them pay restitution for all the families that they impacted with their behavior. Oh, please, please. I know the Democrats are not going to do this, but please, like, let me get something out of this. Please, please, please. Something, anything. I'm begging.
Tried to prevent law enforcement vehicles from leaving, creating unsafe conditions.
Help me! Get me out of here!
After the tear gas was deployed, you can see the man who was sprayed in the face running from the scene, not in custody. It's unclear if he was arrested. CNN has reached out to DHS.
They're such incompetent morons, too. Like, if you organize, you would not need to beg. Brother, what are you saying? What are you saying? What more can I do? Okay? What do you mean? Do you want me to take the platform that I currently have and throw it directly in the dumpster by saying, hey, everyone, rise up in arms. It's time. Is that what you want? So I can, I don't know, lean into your power fantasy? I already do organize, and I already do try to aid in organizing to the best of my ability. There's also an important part of the awareness initiatives here, okay? Jesus Christ. I'm going to Minneapolis tomorrow for the general strike. What do you want? What are you talking about? It's so crazy. Chatter, FYI, it's a literal crime to conspire to violently disrupt ICE operations. Yeah, exactly. Like, this administration is already up my asshole. I've already been detained before. You had Trisha McLaughlin talk about me. You had the vice president talk about me and Kaya. And you're over here being like, why don't you openly violate the law? Why don't you, at a time when there's unprecedented surveillance on everyone, but especially a high-profile anti-imperialist, anti-Zionist, anti-American tyranny content creator, at a time when the government is looking to make a example out of everyone, why don't you do a crime so that I can feel good? I can feel like you're a real one. It's so stupid.
You know, you're throwing race into it, right? Let's throw race out of this. That's the whole thing. It's divided. We have yet to say anything about race. Neither.
Then why are ICE apprehending people, brown people?
He's trying to debate lord it, dude. What the? That's so funny. Like, what is this? What is this thing that people do where it's like, I'm a piece of shit, but I want to feel better, and I'm gonna try and feel better by trying to rationalize my behavior in the marketplace of ideas. Yeah, why don't you commit crimes? Very uncool of you. I know. That shit is so annoying to me. Like, doors open. Yeah, everyone's a liberal. No, I know. The ICE agent is a liberal too. He's like, I want to defeat my interlocutors in the marketplace of ideas. It'll make me feel better. He's debating in a ski mask about the non-racial component of the white supremacist Gestapo forces. Awesome.
We have yet to say anything about race. Neither.
Then why are ICE apprehending people, brown people, asking them to show papers if they encounter them out in the public? That is straight out of Nazi Germany.
Look, listen, if there's a lady from if there's somebody or gentleman or whoever's from UK and they look like her, they will get arrested as well, and they'll get deported.
On the sidewalk being peaceful.
It's simple. It's straight simple. They can look like me, you, her, him. If you're legal or illegal, you'll get deported.
A European country right now. Then why aren't you doing it to Canadians? Yeah, literally. Like, you're not. They are not going up to white people asking for papers. They just aren't.
How do you know?
Because I've been watching the news. Everyone that's being approached is a person of color.
Before the VP visit, ICE and Border Patrol leaders again emphasized their surge isn't slowing down. Frankie McLister was
there. He's so stupid. He's like, oh, it's not racial. Okay. Would that make it better if you just started asking white people for their papers too? Like at what point do you realize that like your entire presence is idiotic? Okay. Your presence here is idiotic. It's useless. It's actually not for anything good. It's only causing harm and disruption to the regular order of business. That was your ICE chatter? Yeah. That was the ICE chatter in my chat. That was also like, hey man, I'm a fan of yours, but like, I served the Fourth Reich, and let me tell you, it's a job. I just want to work for the FBI, but I gotta get that signing bonus so I can send Guatemalan parents to El Salvador and rip them away from their families. A job's a job.
Holds the region's federal immigration court, showing those on a screen they've detained who they say are, quote, the worst of the worst, and asking for Governor Walz, Mayor Fry, and everyone in between to help them.
We're all on the same team, and our cooperation will save lives.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security says as of Thursday, they've now arrested over 3,300 since Operation Metro Surge began, numbers we haven't been able to verify.
Frankie, but WCCO here in CBS. Do you have any updated numbers of how many agents are here? It's been a few since we've received that.
Sure, I won't give you an exact number. Those numbers are going to remain law enforcement sensitive, but several thousand.
Charles adds that protesters across the state are trying to defend those who've committed crimes. Bavino also criticized Minneapolis police for not helping during Wednesday's protest.
Good.
When asked if they called for help, he only mentioned they did at some point.
Minneapolis Police Department's been called on several situations that they have not responded.
When asked about the end in sight,
this mission's ongoing until there are no more of those.
Dog, your goons arrested black and brown off-duty cops. What are you saying? The police chief had to come out and be like, yeah, they're doing racial profiling.
Criminal illegal aliens roaming the streets of Minneapolis.
Frankie McLister, WCCO News.
We've reached out to MPD to see if they have a response to Bovino's criticism. Today, ICE said in a release that their officers and agents rank among the world's most skilled and experienced. no question the federal immigration crackdown has turned chaotic. So to keep the peace, the vice president claims cooperation is the key.
The reason why things have gotten so out of hand is because of failure of cooperation between the state and local authorities and what these guys are trying to do.
Caroline Cummings was at that briefing. She joins us now. Hi there, Caroline. You had a lot to say.
Yeah, so he spoke for about 30 minutes, took reporter questions during that time, and it followed a closed-door meeting with business leaders and ICE officers. Vance said it was to learn more about what's happening on the ground to, quote, tone down the temperature and reduce the chaos. Now, we have seen these operations turn chaotic, just like this one yesterday with Border Patrol deploying crowd control chemicals in South Minneapolis. Vance said if local authorities worked more closely with federal authorities, that the situation could de-escalate. He said many of the federal agents who are here aren't even doing immigration enforcement. They're just protecting other ICE officers, alleging that local cops are being told to stand down if those agents call 911.
We have people here who aren't even doing immigration enforcement, they're doing force protection. So that if a rioter tries to ruin the life or assault an ICE officer, they're actually protected. Now, why doesn't it make more sense for the local cops to get involved in that situation? Why not just...
Great question. Let's think. You got cops going against ICE. I wonder how we got here. And for the record, they're exaggerating. I'll see for myself, but, you know, I don't think the cops are actually impeding or disrupting whatever the goals of ICE is and like defending the protesters. Let's be real. They're most likely lying or greatly exaggerating.
Have the mayor or the local officials tell the police officers, you know what, if an ICE officer is being assaulted by a far left agitator, you are invited, you should actually help them. That's what would work out in any normal situation, and that's what happens in nearly every jurisdiction, red or blue, in the United States of America.
Now, we reached out to the police departments in Minneapolis and St. Paul about those claims, but we have not heard back yet. The Department of Homeland Security has also repeatedly...
Okay, low-key, that makes me feel like they are not cooperating with ICE. That's kind of awesome. Wait, if that's the case, that's pretty dope. Because normally they definitely would immediately be like, what are you talking about? Of course, we hold the rule of the law to the utmost importance. Of course, we're going to celebrate our law enforcement, no matter which level they're at. That's kind of dope. I hope that's the case. Oh my God. Well, we'll see.
Asked Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey to honor ICE detainers or those requests to local law enforcement that they are notified. ICE is notified if a person here illegally is released from custody. The Minnesota Department of Corrections says it does cooperate with ICE, calling claims that illegal immigrants with criminal records are being released back into the streets as fundamentally false, guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Caroline, thank you.
And the Governor Walz, just sent this response to the vice president's visit, saying in part, quote, I am glad the vice president agrees the temperature needs to be turned down, but actions speak louder than words. We don't need 3,000 ICE agents in our streets. Take the show of force off the streets.
We have important new information this morning on the immigration crackdown in Minnesota. A memo obtained by CBS News shows that ICE agents have been told that they can force their way into suspects' homes without a judge's search warrant. Meanwhile,
veteran, by the way, was the vice president last election cycle, by the way, was the VP candidate. I have never seen a bigger fall off cycle than Tim Walz in my whole life. Like when he was first chosen, I was like, oh my God, are they doing it? Are they actually leaning into woke? Are they leaning into progress? And he came out hot with the whole, like, they're weird. Republicans are weird meta. And they backpocketed his ass, dude. They backpocketed the shit out of him. And then he became Tim, I will do a nuclear first strike on Iran Waltz. He got bitched out of office by a slop tuber. Not even a regular slop tuber, like somehow a dumber than average slop tuber. I cannot believe it. Tim Walz and Jacob Frey should be on camera every day. They should be doing press conferences in broad daylight, areas where ICE is actually trying to do operations at, every single day. Okay. I have yet to see him on camera other than the first day when Renega got shot and killed. The only motion that we've seen from Tim Walz is being like, Mr. President, this is not you. This is not you. This is not us. Why are you doing this? Over and over again. Bitch, it is him. It's him. And it is definitely us. Time to do something about it. The do you mean?
There's a new dispute between ICE and local officials in Minnesota that has officials calling ICE flat wrong. Nicole Skenga is in St. Paul covering this for us. Nicole, good morning. What's going on there?
Good morning, Nate. ICE says it has taken hundreds of dangerous migrants off the streets here in this region. It also accuses state and local law enforcement officials of interfering with immigration enforcement, even letting some suspects go free. Now, CBS News has reviewed state records that suggest some of those alleged criminals were already in prison or
Oh, wow. Wow. No, that's it. That's literally it. They pad the numbers by going to the prisons. That's why the corrections facility, the Minnesota Corrections Department for the state came out with a release and said, hey, we're cooperating with ICE. I don't know what the they're talking about. That's it. Whenever these guys say, oh, we apprehended rapists and we took them off the streets, they're lying. They took them out of prison. In the United States of America, if you're an undocumented immigrant and you do a crime, like you do a heinous crime, you do a or something, or you kill someone in a DUI, you get arrested by local law enforcement, not by ICE. That's not the job of ICE. A lot of people don't realize this. They don't understand it. The job of the police is to go and arrest this person. And the job of the prosecutor is to charge this person. The job of the courts is to find this person guilty, okay? Or whatever, is to make sure that justice is served, okay? And then when justice is served, they go to prison. This is how it's always worked. This is just how it works. And these guys basically decided, oh, we can arrest whoever the we want. And when people demand the numbers of the people that have actual crimes, have actual criminal records, we can give them a number by going to the prisons. It is not ICE's job or ICE's jurisdiction. It is not ICE's job, or is it within its purview, or is ICE's jurisdiction to apprehend criminals. ICE's job is to deal with paperwork-related civil offenses, okay? That's what ICE is supposed to do. That's what it was designed for. That's what it used to be. That's what it's supposed to be, okay? They are supposed to go to people that have bad paperwork and say, your paperwork is bad. Go to the court to fix it.
Under state law enforcement supervision, and Minnesota's top corrections official, his name is Paul Schnell, we spoke with him yesterday, seemed genuinely astonished by the Trump administration's claim that the state is releasing criminals.
What is this? Crying? R.I.P. Carla? R.I.P. to his abusive dog, Sag? Yeah, my dog Carla was being abusive, so I'm eating her.
Does it feel like the Department of Homeland Security is lying when it says that state authorities are not cooperating?
It is fundamentally false. We cooperate with ICE and ICE detainers. We have, as a matter of policy, done that for a long, long time.
As ICE raids have unfolded across the Twin Cities, the Trump administration has accused state leaders of protecting the worst of the worst.
The best solution is to turn them over to us in a safe, controlled setting like a jail or prison.
But Minnesota Corrections Commissioner Paul Schnell says that's already common practice.
Yeah! As they approach their release date several weeks before, our staff coordinates directly with the local ICE office. Staff do this on a routine basis. They make arrangements for the transfer of custody of that individual.
For months, the Department of Homeland Security has released lists of mugshots. Alleged criminals, it says, were seemingly tracked down and arrested by ICE. But Schnell told us that's not completely true.
These are people that they're in our system or have been in our system. But
they're literally going after people who are in prison to pad the stats, and even then, 70% of the apprehensions have no prior criminal convictions whatsoever. Isn't that nuts? They'll be like, oh, we apprehended 3,000 people, okay? And it's like, it's even higher than that. I'm saying like no record whatsoever for 70%, and it's like no convictions for, I think, like 90%. 10% actually has criminal charges or criminal convictions. That 10% comes from the prisons. So they go to the prisons and they bring, they demand that the Department of Corrections like release to ICE custody like a bunch of rapists and shit like that are already in jail, just so they can turn around and go see how violent all these like rapist immigrants are. It's insane. It is like It's transparent propaganda. It is so belligerent. I cannot believe that people fall for it too. Co on your docu on Sundance. What? Yes, I am in a documentary. Oh, congrats on your documentary on Sundance. Yes, I'm in a documentary that is being shown at Sundance tomorrow. I was invited to go to Sundance to go and watch it, but I am going to be in Minneapolis, in Murderapolis, at minus 50 degrees instead. I have a brief part in it. It's not that big. You hate being cold, huh? Yeah, I do, but you know, we got to suck it up. Anything to skip going to Utah? Man, I mean, I think I'm spending my time in a place that's a little bit more important right now, you know? But yeah, that's also why I laugh when like, one, you fell off, and two, oh, you're just a Twitch streamer. You're the same as Asmongold. Okay, buddy. The documentary is about Feroz Sidwa, who I've had on the stream. And a part of the documentary that features me is when he came on the stream, when he came back from Gaza. The doctor that came back from Gaza that I interviewed.
They were released.
These worst of the worst criminals weren't swept up by ICE on city streets.
No, they were released to ICE.
In one example, Schnell said his department turned these 2 state prisoners over to immigration officials on January 12th. The next day, both appeared in a DHS press release highlighting people who'd been arrested in ICE operations. That same release also claimed state leaders, quote, will not let us into their jails.
Coordinated that transfer of custody, and the next day they showed up on a DHS list of among
the worst of the worst list.
Among the worst of the worst. And yet, exactly what should have happened, happened.
You say you need it to stop.
We need them to stop telling stories that are simply untrue. That we will and do coordinate.
Remember when I told you all this shit was going down? This is what I mean. New Trump audio dropped less than a minute ago. On what? We have a lot of ships on their way to Iran. We have an aircraft carrier heading there too. We'll see what happens. We have a big force on its way over there. I don't want anything to happen, but we'll have to see what happens. Okay, this is the same shit.
On the transfer of custody of people.
What do you want Tim Walz to do that won't be talking to MAGA's break wall admin too? Won't cause a potential violent escalation? Brother, violent escalation? You mean everyday existence for Minnesotans right now? Get out there, buddy. Your constituents are being murdered. They're being gassed. They're being brutalized by a lawless tyrant. Get the out there. Everywhere you go, bring the National Guard with you. You were a part of the National Guard. Bring him around with you. Wear a Zelensky-style, army fatigue and go out there and say, Mr. President, stop invading Minneapolis. I don't know, anything. Like, literally anything. Do something, man. It's crazy to me that you're the governor. You're literally a veteran. You were in Congress. This kind of shit's happening. One of your constituents was slaughtered by a rogue ICE agent. Not even a rogue ICE agent. An ICE agent following the orders of the rest of, following the orders of a tyrant president. And you got nothing going on, really? You're not on TV every day? You're not doing rallies every day? So disappointing.
Who are subject to ICE detainers, and will continue to do that, period.
We should add that Minnesota Corrections said they didn't even have criminal records for some of the alleged felons that ICE says they've arrested. Now, we did reach out to the Department of Homeland Security for clarity here. They did not address the discrepancy in the numbers, but in a statement urged all Minnesota elected leaders to cooperate with ICE. Nate?
Oh, so they're lying as well. Oh, so that either they're getting like criminals that have already been apprehended and are in prison in Minnesota out of prison so they can make it seem like they're actually, apprehending criminals when they're not, their job is not to do that. But then when there's not enough criminals to apprehend that you've released from prison, you just lie and you just make shit up. Great. Clown show. All paid for with our tax dollars, by the way.
Well, here at home, Vice President J.D. Vance heading to Minneapolis to meet with local leaders as anti-ICE protesters continue in the Twin Cities.
Garrett Tenney joins us from the Twin Cities as it awaits the Vice President's arrival. Garrett.
Hey, good morning, y'all. The White House says the Vice President will be hosting a roundtable with local leaders, and the focus of that roundtable will be on restoring law and order in Minnesota. That's what the administration says it's been trying to do with more than 3,000 federal agents here who are facing stiff opposition and harassment from the community almost everywhere they go. The vice president's visit also comes as the Department of Justice is investigating that anti-ICE protest at a church in the Twin Cities Sunday. The administration has promised to hold those involved accountable. Here's Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Religious liberty is under siege in our country right now, and we are not going anywhere.
Oh, they're such babies, bro. They have to literally always find a way to make themselves seem like they're the victims, permanently a victim. This crybaby shit is so uncouth.
Until those people who did those acts are held accountable. Minnesota is important because it is sending a message to the entire country that Donald Trump is going to protect every city in this country. We're going to protect every house of worship.
You know what? This is Israel, by the way. Like 1-to-1. I mean, it's a 1-to-1 whenever there's like another settler fair that they throw together at a synagogue and people go outside of that synagogue and understandably protest and they go, oh my God, this is anti-Semitism. Federal government's doing Israel shit. Okay? We are the real victims because you hate us because of what we've done to you. Amer Israel. Amer Israel.
One of the organizers of that protest, though, says she's not hiding and completely stands by the protest that shut down that worship service.
Personally, I will not be gaslit by the Trump administration. They are trying to turn a peaceful, nonviolent demonstration into a crime.
The vice president's visit also comes a day before activists are calling for a statewide shutdown to protest ICE with a rally outdoors when temperatures will be as low as the -40s. Back to y'all.
All right. Thanks, Garrett.
So, it's going to be interesting to see, by the way, if protesters turn out to be outside of Vice President Vance's visit. But
that person wasn't saying that to me. Don't be a tattletale.
Important for context to understand the reason why ICE is in Minneapolis is because
bro, y'all thought I was joking when I said -45 with the wind chill? No, I wasn't. I looked it up. We had to buy gear, specific gear. I don't have clothes for -40 degrees. I'm busting out the Russian parka. I don't even know what it's going to do if trees start exploding.
Is a sanctuary jurisdiction that prohibits local law enforcement and authorities from cooperating with ICE. And so the murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, the violent illegal alien criminals that have been protected, running free.
Every part of this conversation is a lie. Every part of this conversation is a lie. I hate it. Not only does the Department of Corrections actually cooperate with ICE, but ICE has no function in, ICE has no law enforcement function, no legal function in detaining people that are doing regular crimes. That's not what ICE's job is. That's not what ICE does. They're not even trained for that, okay? Everything that they're saying is a lie. ICE's job in its jurisdiction is to serve paperwork. That's it. Their job is to track down people who are in violation of paperwork-related offenses. The idea that these people are, following rapists and doing investigative work and like tracking down rapists and like catching them in, right after they did the crime or whatever, like that's all complete and utter.
On the streets of cities like Minneapolis, ICE is going in to try and get them and deport them. That was President Trump's promise to the nation to close the border, which he's done. 8 straight months of zero releases and to remove these individuals.
I just love these idiot lawmakers, from the mayor to the governor, who say, I'm really proud of how peaceful and how much love is out there. Does this look like love to you? Is this love to you when you get in front of a law enforcement official and don't let them go to a convenience store, or you work in that convenience store and you don't serve them? Is that the love that Minneapolis is giving out? Does that look like a lovely thing to do, jumping on a law enforcement officer and then...
Yes, it does, because it's solidarity. And solidarity is the closest expression to love that I've ever felt with my fellow man, random people all around the world. So yeah, it is an expression of love. It's an expression for love of justice. It's an expression of the love that you feel for your fellow citizens, that you care for, that you want to defend them, that you want to put your body on the line for them. I know this is a concept that is completely alien to a multi-millionaire Fox News contributor who makes his money by dividing the American public, by filling their heads with lies. But yeah, that is love. This is a nation of immigrants, man. What the are we doing? This is a nation comprised entirely of immigrants. Some multiple generations removed, some recent, some in the process of getting their paperwork done, some that recently completed it. Protecting those people, regardless of their immigrant status, because they are your neighbors and you love them, is the most American thing you can do. That's it.
Blaming some other, you're under duress or that you have the disability. This is absolutely an embarrassment. If people in Minneapolis could see the way they're being, could see themselves and see this video and are proud, they're living in a different country.
I am proud of those people, and those people should feel proud. If there's anyone who should never feel a sense of pride, it's Brian Kill Myself, Mr. I want to light homeless people on fire. I want to murder every homeless person I see. You're a disgusting little creature, Brian.
About a week ago, you interviewed Mayor Fry, and this is a portion of that interview. It was on January 14th. Listen to Griff talking to the mayor.
We have a separation ordinance in the city, and you know what that ordinance says? It says that I want our limited numbers of police officers focusing on keeping people safe, arresting perpetrators of violent crimes, stopping car thefts from taking place. That's what I want them focusing on. You know what I don't want them focusing on? Hunting down a dad that just dropped his kids off at daycare, is about to go work a 12-hour shift, who happens to be from Ecuador. That guy makes our city a better place.
There's two sides to this story. You mentioned an Ecuadorian migrant. Are you familiar with Victoria Eileen Harwell? An Ecuadorian illegal immigrant in August of 2024, driving drunk, crashed head-on into Victoria Harwell, killing her. You call it a separation ordinance. Why not just cooperate and make it safer for everyone involved? The community, the officers, and even the migrants.
My position here is pretty straightforward, and that's this. If you commit a crime, if you commit fraud, if you commit a carjacking or a murder, you should be investigated, charged, prosecuted, held accountable, and yes, arrested and put in jail. What I am saying is that a lot of the people that ICE is picking up right now in our city are not a problem for Minneapolis.
That was a great point, Griff, because why not just cooperate? If you don't want the dad who's here illegally but doing everything right, if you don't want him to get arrested, then why not work with ICE and say, give me the list of everyone that you want?
Brother, what the are you talking about? Okay, here's another side of the otherwise complex immigration process that exists in this country that most people are completely oblivious to. ICE knows where most undocumented immigrants are. This might come as a surprise to you, but ICE, I'm going to repeat it one more time. ICE knows exactly where most of the undocumented immigrants are on U.S. soil. And not because of surveillance, mind you. They know the precise location of every single undocumented immigrant, virtually every single undocumented immigrant on U.S. soil. And it's not because they have mass surveillance. They know because these people pay taxes. They know where they work. They know because these people go to courts. ICE has under Democratic leadership, a handshake agreement, and under Republican leadership too, even to this day. They have a handshake agreement with all of these undocumented migrants. We keep them undocumented on purpose, okay? We keep them undocumented on purpose. We don't let them get the proper documentation and the proper clearance. We put them in this legal limbo, okay? The reality of the matter is, ICE knows where most people are. They know where most people work. They know that these people don't have any criminal records because these people, for the most part, by and large, on U.S. soil, cooperate with the court system. Okay? This is a new one? No, this is not a new one. This is not new at all. I've talked about this a million different times. I've talked about this because ICE does apprehensions at courts. What the do you think is happening? Those are asylum applicants that are following their paperwork properly to get gainful employment in the country. I've talked about it so much. Why would those guys go to their court dates? Usually just say asylum seeker. Yeah, that's what an undocumented immigrant is. Thought they didn't get benefits? Wait, what? No, they don't. They pay taxes. They don't receive benefits from said taxes. Yes, undocumented migrants pay into taxes. Their information is stored with the IRS. They do not get benefits from said taxes. Perhaps the reason why you're confused right now is because it doesn't make any sense to actually illegally apprehend these people and kick them out of the country, right? When you find all the facts, when you find out that it's just Every single thing that the administration has been saying about undocumented migrants and migrants in general is just built around a lie. Okay? Not what your governor said, my boy. Chatter, you don't have to lash out at me because you're oblivious to how things work, okay? I don't know why your first response in this moment is not to go, wait a minute, I didn't know the full details of the situation, but instead to double down and try to attack the messenger. This is what a stupid person does. I want to believe that you're more intelligent than this, all right? I want to believe that you are not this dumb. I want to hope and dream that you are actually intelligent enough to go, you know what? I had not heard of this piece of information. I'm going to go research it on my own. I'm going to try to see if this is verified. I'm going to try to find out if this is true or not. And then if it is true, I'm going to change my mind. That's what you're supposed to do, okay? When you encounter new information backed by evidence, what you're supposed to do is go, I wonder what steps led me to believe otherwise I should really reconsider this position, okay? That's what you're supposed to do. Instead, you just lashed out at me angrily, try to catch me in an own or something. It's funny how they assume you like Newsom. Yeah, I don't even know if he knows which governor he's talking about. I don't know why he stopped talking. I feel like he's short-circuited. I wish you would have laid this truth to Bob yesterday and see what he said about that. Yeah, because you flick your bean or crank your hog to contest. That's all you care about. If all you care about is blood sport and getting dunks, then yeah, that's your takeaway from that conversation. I think that conversation was very productive. Why are you always so mad at people who go against your views? I'm not. I'm mad at people that are wrong, but confidently wrong. Who on the planet would be not mad at someone who is objectively incorrect and also on top of that, confidently incorrect and acting as though they are the actual authority on the subject matter when I'm explaining something to them that they didn't know about beforehand? That's understandably a frustrating situation, don't you think? But you go against their character. Chatter, what's your job? Are you gainfully employed? Do you have a job? Let's test this out. Like, what do you do every day? I'm sure there's a hobby that you have that you know down to the wire, right? You know every single thing about this hobby. If I just came up to you and I just started explaining something to you confidently that you knew more about than I did, you would probably also get mad at me, right? Like, that's normal. It's a human thing. And for the record, I asked you what your job is. I didn't ask like, there was a purpose for that. Like, whatever your specialty is, right? Sorry, game developer. Great. Brilliant. Beautiful. Imagine if I just started telling you that you were, like, confidently telling you that you were wrong about your actual job, okay? I was just yelling at you like, you're stupid, dude. You don't understand. That's not how video games are developed, you dumbass. That's not what the Blizzard developers said, just like bring up random shit. Yeah, you would get pissed off, right? As a matter of fact, I'm sure you do receive that on a daily fucking basis half the time from, Asmongold's fans. I mean, that does happen, but going against someone's character is uncalled for. Oh, just tell them any Pyro software take. Yeah. If I catch you having a take on Pyro software that goes against his character, I'm gonna ruthlessly ban you, just so you know. Because once again, you're more mad at the form than the function. Why is it that so many people get mad at the form rather than the function? The function here is someone coming in without additional knowledge on an issue that I'm talking about and confidently being incorrect and derailing. Okay? Stop focusing on the form. Start focusing on the function. Okay? This is a unfortunate byproduct of liberalism, I think. A lot of people will go, hey, you can be a dog person. You're like J.D. Vance. Okay? J.D. Vance is a horrible monster. And yet, J.D. Vance, I want your Kong in my mouth. I love you, Asmon. You are sexy as At least we were able to come to a reasonable conclusion here about form versus function. And I'm glad that we were able to reach a point of agreement before I saw those logs. There's got to be a mix-up. I'm sure you were memeing, I hope. My brother was on the account. My dog was typing that, actually.
Want to come after in Minneapolis, and we'll go through it.
Why the f are we giving away our position/military strategy to the enemy of Iran? What do you mean, dude? You think you can move assets into the region and Iran is not going to know about it? That's funny. Yeah. America should be moving aircraft carriers secretly to the Gulf. Submerge them. Yeah. Put them under the water. The ocean is so big. Why can't they just move? Why can't they move this this city, this floating city quietly? Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Surely they won't notice.
And if they're a pedophile, if they're a rapist, if they're abusing their spouse, we're going to go and get those guys. Let's cooperate. And then if there is dad on the list that's here illegally, maybe there's an argument for put him at the bottom of the list if we have time, or let's investigate him. Let's see if he's committed a crime. But they won't cooperate. Instead, they're causing this anarchy. People are angry. They're standing up to the police officers.
Bro, I swear, it's like everything is Israel. Amer Israel. Amer Israel. It's Amer Israel time. It's always like the action that the government is doing, no matter how violent, no matter how illegal, no matter how ruthless it is nothing in comparison to the feelings of the law enforcement officers getting hurt. Okay? Israel can do a live streamed Holocaust of, majority children and women every single day for 2 days straight. And the only conversation that must take place on U.S. soil is how that makes Israel dick riders feel. I don't know. I don't know how vapid one can be to not realize, that's not the problem. Like, your personal feelings are not the issue here, okay? Your personal feelings are not even in the top 10 considerations in this moment. As a matter of fact, I would like it if your feelings were hurt even further. I hope that you feel the pain, even a fraction of the pain that you are defending, that you've brought about others. It's so crazy. It's always so strange. These guys are like, look at how these ICE agents, their hands hurt after punching the out of like another wine mom in a Minnesota suburb. Like, I don't care. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about your physical safety. Just don't do it then. What do you mean?
Then they're mad when police officers have to use the pepper spray or whatever spray they're using. But the reason is they're outnumbered. They have these groups that are massive, hundreds of people that come up to a few of these ICE agents.
What is this? Hey, Hassan, yesterday I asked about how people can be so evil. You mentioned that Gaza was a testing ground and how we saw people suffer and no one cared. I don't think Gazans should die, but I also know Americans only care about America, so shouldn't they do something since it's happening on their homeland? P.S. Not trying to rage bait, genuinely asking. Got into politics last year. Welcome to politics, chatter. They are doing something. This is something. This is the thing that they're doing, and it will only continue. Some's got to give. Either the government continues its escalations and it turns into, I guess, complete chaos and civil war, or they back away.
You will pet me, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not.